Fucking hell. Emma's back from the dead again. Oh, hello. I haven't got long my appointment, so I've just got to me mark. Yeah. Come on, give me a second. You can't stop me. Oh. Anyway, I'm watching this thing about Rose West and Fred West. But yeah, so you know, it's all part of the process, you know what I mean? Oh, just you. Yeah, even ghosts exist on YouTube. Now, Emma, I've been putting this on the back burner for years. You know, I was afraid to go. You know, in all fairness, I've never loved myself enough to put me pride and me principles before me happiness. You know what I mean? Now, I said I don't want to forget where I come from. Now I'm ready to forget. Because all this will go, and then be like that. You know, I'm ready. I don't think I've ever been more ready. You know, like I said, it's not just for me, it's for the kids as well. I mean, this is, you know, like, yeah, so in about half an hour, well, Emma, I'll be honest with you, I'm fucking terrified. You know, it's like on YouTube, you get people that'll mock you because of how you look. I couldn't give a fuck what people think of me on YouTube. You know, the fact that I'll be able to chew, again, is on my bucket list. I just want to bite an apple, even if I get a bang of a car on the way home. As long as I can chew, and like I said, I'm in good hands. You know what I mean? I know a lot of people that have used this practice. You know, like you won't get a private dentist on the NHS. You know, you won't get it. But like I said, I'm going to do it for not just me, but for me missus and me kids. You know, like I like smiling, but it's rare I smile because you know I'm embarrassed if the truth be told. You know, but like I said, shout out to me friend Lee who took me yesterday. Uh, and I'm over the moon, I am. If you've not bought Lee Marvin Hitchman's book, Born in Prison, can you buy it? Like I said, it's like Lee's been like a brother to me. You know what I mean? And it's like, he reached out to me and said, Jude, me and you are going to see my guy. I'm not allowed to smoke in the house, I have to get a light. So, that's what I'm doing. I'm taking my life back. You know, like most of my life, I always said I'm not getting my teeth done. I want to remember where I come from, but now I'm ready to forget. I may as well forget because when this book comes out, a few people are going to be upset. But I don't give a flying fuck about their feelings because they never give a fuck about mine. In this book, there's a few tough guys in Ballier, isn't there? With nicknames. Here, I remember you getting the face better off you when we were kids, and you never told anyone about that. I know you wrote a book. You didn't put that in your book, did you? Well, as a kid, I witnessed one of my friend's big brothers get his ass whooped, you know, and it's like, I remember, you know, if you're a kid and you can have a go, you're always going to be there. Do you understand? But there's a lot of people from Dublin who are gangsters, who are household names. But I know a few people that's put it on some of these gangsters and their arse goes when their boys aren't there to fucking back them. You know, it's like, and not one of them up there can fight fair. You know, they need their mates or a baseball bat, you know. When it takes 5 grown-ass men to come and get me on my own, 5 of them it took. Well, hard yous, aren't yous? But if the truth be told, I'd punch the face off every one of yous individually. You see, that's why you brought 5 people to hog-tie me, because you knew, if I get hold of a bar or something, I don't care, I'm in danger. I'm fear for my life, so I'm going to protect myself. But there's a few people in Ballyfermot with nicknames who I remember them getting their ass whooped years ago. But you don't tell people that, do you? You tell people how tough you are. And if the truth be told, yous are fake tough guys. I remember you getting bet when we were kids in Bluebell. You know, and then acting like they're tough guys, you know. And then their kids want to be like them. Yeah, fuck that, mate. I'd sooner die than my kids be acting like me. You know, education's the way forward, but a lot of my friends think selling drugs is the way forward. You're not noble. Only scumbags sell heroin and cocaine. Crack cocaine, that is. All, it doesn't matter. You're part of the fucking problem. You know, like I used to idolise and worship tough guys when I was a kid because I wanted to be one. I wanted to be one of the lads, not just one of the boys, one of the lads, one of the chaps. But like I said, when I first went to man's jail and Mountjoy prison, I knew that I wasn't a fucking tough guy, mate. Do you understand? I was surrounded by tough guys. And a lot of them had a lot of love for me. My first real fight was this dude wouldn't leave me alone. I didn't want to fight. He had braces. Well, he did have. Well, listen, Emmett. Sometimes, you know, bullies need to be stopped and silenced. Like, I'm not a tough guy, a hard man, nor a fighting man. I can fight, you know, but that doesn't make me a tough guy. I'm just disciplined. Well disciplined. Well drilled. It never goes away. It's fucking there. Well, Emmett, I had a similar experience with a guy in Bluebell, no names, Hello Costello. So this fella kept bullying me, right? Emmett, I don't know whether you're familiar with Bluebell Flats, right? But in Bluebell, when I was an 8-year-old kid, there was this kid and he wouldn't leave me alone, bro. You know, he made me life hell. He didn't like me. And he was like 12 years old. And he kept picking at me all the time to the point where on my way home from school in the Obelix, I'd see him and I'd have to go a different way. You know, to avoid him because I was scared of him, right? You know, and I come in my mum's house one day, this geezer was at the hit me in the face, busted me nose, because I found a skateboard in the canal. I ended up ruining my school uniform to get this fucking skateboard, yeah, and then this guy asked me for a go. I knew he wasn't going to give it back, and when I asked for him, he was going to do that, right? So I asked for it back, smack. I ran into my house crying. My dad was there. He says, "What are you crying for? Have you got a fanny? Hey, have you got a vagina? Show me which one of them did it." Point to him. I pointed out the window. He said, "That big fella?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Right, me and you's going out here now. See, take that." He handed me a stick, Emmett, and told me to break it off this fella's head. I couldn't do it, bro. I was afraid, right? So my dad smacked me in front of them, and this cunt was laughing. All his mates are like, "Ah, your dad smacked you." Really, bang. I hit him with it about 4 times until it broke. My dad said, "He's not going to hit you again." Then his daddy opened his mouth on the first balcony. "I'll come down and beat your ass." You know, my dad saying, "Right here, come down. Your cunt son has been bullying my son. He's 3 or 4 years older than him." You know, the same fella, he was sitting in a car in the flats one day that was used for parts. No wheels, just a steering wheel, no windows, one seat. I snuck up, lit a piece of paper, put it in the petrol tank. I didn't know what was going to happen. I just wanted to frighten him. And if the truth be told, I got hurt more than he did. I got lifted about 2 feet off the ground easy. You know, like when it blew up, you know that backdraft? Backdraft, that sound. Boom! And at the time, Kenneth O'Driscoll's ma was right there. Our flat was right there in the same block as me nanny's. Bernie O'Driscoll come out, brought me into our house, and I had shorts and a t-shirt on that day, right? So what happened was, I blew the petrol tank, but when it blew, some of it come out and went all over me. I was on fire, do you understand? So Wally O'Sullivan's dad and Bernie O'Driscoll come out, brought me in the flat. I was like that, my skin was hanging off my arms, because when it blew up, it knocked me about 2 feet in the air, I'm telling you. It's like, but he never picked on me again. No names, Hello Costello, Bluebell Flats, near Inchicore. That'll go in my book too. And I grew up with loads of men that have nicknames, and some of them have threatened me and said, "You better not mention me in my book." And it's like, why, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? You know this, you can't fight without your family. Whereas me, I don't need my family to fight, because my brothers will tell you I can fight, but that doesn't make me a tough guy. Gotcha, you fuck. What time is it? I need to ring a new, but very soon. Uh, but like I said, I never had the courage to get my teeth done. You know, I didn't love myself. But since I've been with me missus, slowly it's coming back. I used to hate myself, and I tortured myself for it. I've always been hard on myself, my biggest critic. Uh, but like I said, we're all God's children, and there's some people on YouTube that think they're better than everybody else. They've got what you call little man syndrome, an inferior complex. Like it's one of the modules they'll teach you in psychology if you ever go on to do a degree in psychology. Yeah, my failed out. And I didn't just get a degree, my son got one in psychology. Yeah, I'm not a pretty face, but I know a bit. But like I said, shout out to Lee Marvin Hitchman for helping me. He said to me, "Jude, I've wrote my book. I'm going to speak to the geezer who published my book and wrote it, ghostwriter. Now, I've got a few projects that, like, number one, Embers of Redemption, and number two, Inferno's Legacy. Or I'm going to title my book STRAIGHTOUTTABALLYER. And I'm going to name a few people in this book. One of them has reached out to me and told me that if I go ahead with this book, that it could be bad for me health. Really? Yeah. In Dublin, you might be a someone, but here, you're nobody. Nobody knows you. Whereas me, I walked away for good at 21. And a lot of me mates didn't get to walk away. They walked away alright with bullets in the face, be on your way. Although I grew up in Cherry Orchard, I was around a lot of tough guys outside Ballyfermot. You see, when you're in Ballyer and there's any trouble, you'll always have your mates to back you. But what happens when you move out of that suburb where everybody knows you, where everyone knows your family? Nobody will fucking touch you. As long as you abide by the rules and you don't disrespect anybody or make up fucking stories about people or tell fucking lies. Now, I don't lie about death. I remember one particular summer, I was 14. I lost 3 mates in that year. One got stabbed to death, one fell out of a conker tree, and one died of leukemia. Rest in peace to Raymond Vickers, Keith Collins, and Mark Summers. Like I'll never forget that summer. I was dealing with a lot of demons, and I didn't know how to get rid of them, man. I had a particular set of friends who allegedly have gone on to run the country, being what the media call the family. They're all me mates. Some of them are me family, blood family. But What I've realised is you're a product of your environment. And if you want to better yourself, or if you have a drug problem and you're around other druggies or junkie bastards, you're never going to progress. You know, first of all, you need to admit it to yourself that you're not perfect. You know, then ask God to help you. You know, to the point, and I don't miss. But I have one target on here, and it's hitting 5,000 subs in over 2 years, and it's like transmission. Yeah, fucking lungs. You know, Emma, I've only tried the balloon once. You know them fucking things, like, right, but everywhere you look around here, there's empty big gas bottles. You know, gas bottles. But guys, listen, it's 10:30. I'm going to stay for 10 minutes and then I'm away. Because I have to go down. I'm going to this fucking dentist, am I? Morning, sir. Hey, Pablo. I hope your mum's okay, bro. Pablo, I'm in the process of getting my teeth done, right? Now, Lee Marvin Hitchman pulled up yesterday in an Uber. He's like, bro, don't make no excuses. I'm coming up to pick you. It was brilliant. I'm coming up to pick you up. So, Pablo, wait till you hear this. So, we're in town, yeah? And Bruce Springsteen is staying at this particular hotel. So, Lee says here, that's none of your business, mate. You're supposed to be dead. Many years have I said I've been on medication. Are you fucking deaf? No disrespect to you, bro, but what the fuck has it got to do with you? But anyway, now listen, bro. Yeah, it's been hard. You know, opiates are fucking hard to come off. You understand? You get in your bone. So you get osteoporosis when you're taking that shit for over 20 years. But like I said, look at, nobody's perfect, and it's like the world expects you to be perfect, but fuck the world. I used to care about what people thought of me to the point where I didn't love myself. I hated myself because of the choices I made in life, and because some of the choices I made in life hey bro, listen, it's my channel, I'll get what the fuck I want. But the answer to your question, bro, it's probably the hardest drug you could come off. And when I first come here, it's like I was at the walking away from heroin, and it's like there's a substitute for heroin, and when I first come on here, I was put on a substitute, being methadone. And I'll tell you one thing, it's the hardest thing in the world to come off. If I told you I didn't sleep for a solid 3 weeks, no sleep, and I went on for months. I'm addicted to opiates. I'll always be addicted to them. You know, it's like, and that's another reason why my teeth are rotted. You see, I used to be on 320 mils Emma, or Air. 120 off the chemist I was prescribed at the time. And at the time, there was a geezer that used to sell 200 for a tenner. So every day I was buying his 200 plus me own. Now I'm going back over 20 years, right? Now, you imagine taking 320 mils of green. That's how bad my habit was. A geezer used to get it, but saved it. He brought me into his bedroom one day. He said, what do you want? I was like, how much have you got? Oh, you look better that. But you know, education helps you, you know, and there's a community of people that are still addicted to a lot of medications. I came off it once, now I'm back in it. 1 full month of no sleep, it scares me to come off it again. I was on 110 and came. Well done, Eric. Fair fucking play to you, bro. And you know what? I apologise for being a bit arsey with you. I respect your courage and your bravery. Thank you for sharing that.
How's that one off?
We were watching that last night about the Rose West. And that cunt was smiling like he said, here, there's no way my daughter's underneath that patio. And bro, they fucking found 3 different
bones,
femurs. And they're like, hang on a minute, this is more than one person. Well, Aaron, like I said, you know, YouTube, there is a lot of good people on here, you know, and it's like I'm not on here to be anyone's enemy. You know, I don't hate anyone on here. I dislike a couple of people, but hatred, I'd never give anybody that power over me again, where I hate them. Like I used to hate Foxy, I used to hate PD, I used to hate Exposure TV. You know, and guys, do me a favour, see Pablo's channel. You know, he's trying to get to his first fucking 500, then his 1,000. So, I told Lee yesterday, Pablo, there's a few people who I believe in, a few Irishmen, right, Pablo? So, one of the nights, me, you, Finn, Spencer, and there's a couple of other dubs. I might even get Jono to come on. He's a friend of Finn. Pablo, the reason why I stopped doing StreamYards is so Finn can do his. Do you understand? And if I'm ever doing a StreamYard, I'll go on to Finn's channel up to Mousie's, you know, and if we can all support each other, like I said, look, I'm not on here to be liked. I'm not on here to be anybody's fucking mate. You know, I get on with a few people. Now, see, Pablo is a friend. Pablo helped me get past something that no doctor on this earth had helped me get past. You know, and I said to myself, you know, because Pablo helped me, and because of his wise words, his advice and his wisdom, I've stayed out of all the bullshit with people. I don't get involved with it. There's only a few on there, all right. Dirty out shadow, oi, jockey. Well, look at, I'll be honest with you. Like, Shadow Boxer, I wouldn't like to fight. He's got a mean body shot, but I've got a mean head kick. And I'd hate kick him, you know, purposely. You know, fuck the ref, the fight's not started. You do not. Look at him, he's sleeping. But like I said, I'm a lover, not a fighter. I'm a changed man. I'm trying to change, and anyway, you know, I'm doing my best. I'm making an effort, you know. But what time is it? 20 to 11, right, Pablo? I'm gonna have to fucking end this live, right? Cause me fucking appointment's at 20 past 11. So thank you everybody for coming in. And it's like, here, I'll give you an update when I get out. You know, like I need to do this for me. You know, all my life I've hated myself because I felt responsible for my little brothers and sisters' death. I felt responsible for Keith Collins' death because I didn't get to him in time. But 6 years later, I got my fucking revenge. And the guy that was there with Macar Wallace was in the same jail, was on the same wing, you know, and then he come into my cell with 2 other people to violate me, and I had to pick. I was scared You know, I was in fear for my life. And the only thing I had was a radio. Once I cracked one of them, there was two left in the cell. One of them was on the ground. You know, I picked my radio up and my man took a back step, so I booted me pad door shut, you know, and I dived on him and I wrapped my legs around his neck and he was trying to get up. So I got him in a body triangle and I was smacking him till the fucking radio handle snapped off and I stuck it in him. No, because he was going to do it. In the Bible it says, do unto others as they do to you. You know, and it's like I said, when I went into prison, I was fucking terrified, you know, because the noise in Mountjoy, the smell of urine, and the anticipation you could cut it with a knife. Guys, thanks for coming in. Shout out to Erda for admitting that. Pablo, I'll do a live when I get back. Thanks everybody for coming in, and I hope you all have a good day.